Canine Chronicle, bringing you Table Talk Live with Gary Andersen from South Carolina. So, Gary, you are in Greenville, South Carolina this weekend. I believe you judged a specialty in LA last weekend, and then the weekend before that, you were in Alaska judging. So, the first 3 weekends, you've been out on the road each one. So, you're going to be a really good person to kind of tell us, what worked better at one show rather than the other. First, let me ask you, do you feel safe?
Yes, I do. For the most part, yeah. Of course, I'm a big fan of the N95 mask, especially traveling in airplanes and stuff, because I think that gives us the best protection.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I feel everyone's overall doing their part to keep us all safe.
Mm-hmm. So you were in Alaska judging, and I believe that was outdoors, and now you're in South Carolina doing all breeds, and it's indoors. The weather delta is quite significant, I believe, from Alaska to South Carolina right now. So tell me, what are you doing differently in the post-COVID era of dog shows now that we're just starting back?
Well, doing a lot of things differently. We have a steward. The steward is on the entrance ring, and then us judges are at the exit, and we have the ribbons. And here, what we're doing is we're pulling our own ribbons and handing them out to the exhibitors. In Alaska, they gave us options, and the one option was that the exhibitor had to pull their own ribbons, which I'm not a fan of, but that was one of the options that they gave us. And the other one was that our steward handed out the ribbons. So, I've been judging for long enough. I feel uncomfortable with stewards handing out ribbons, but it seemed to work real good. It's a little bit harder keeping track of which animals are in the ring and which aren't, because they're coming in from one area which you're not accustomed to.
Right.
So it's a little bit different.
There have been a little bit different practices with armbands also? One contrasted to the other?
Yes. One of them is up in Alaska. What they did is you had to go to the superintendent's desk to get the ribbons. The armbands. And what they did is they gave them a packet for the whole weekend. So if you had 6 dogs you were showing, you got 6 packets for each exhibit. Mm-hmm. Here, what they're doing is they're putting them out on the table, and the people are walking up and filing through all the armbands and pulling the ones they want. Now, they are only putting 1 hour out at a time, but I don't feel quite as comfortable with all the hands touching all the armbands.
Got it. So you think that the packet of armbands in an envelope might be a little bit better of a practice?
I personally, yes, I do.
That's what you prefer, which is fine. Yeah. So are you at this point comfortable that all of the villagers, as we call them, and the fancy is being respectful and careful and kind of honoring guidelines that have been set forth?
Yes, very much so. Everyone is so excited about being back. It is like, I'll do whatever I have to do to get back in the ring. I don't care what I have to do, type thing. Mm-hmm. And we've not had any trouble with people with masks on. Mm-hmm. You looking around at people walking around, they all have their masks on. Every now and then you'll see them pull them up from underneath to catch their breath a little bit. Uh-huh. And most of the exhibitors have not complained about having trouble breathing too much when running. Mm-hmm. But, I kind of minimize that too, to make sure that they do, because today the indoor arena, they were just a little bit warm. It was a little bit warmer than I would have liked. So I did have a couple exhibitors complain that they were having trouble breathing. So I just stopped them. I said, okay, we won't do any more running on you.
Right. Exactly.
So,
are you happy to be back?
oh my gosh, yes. And it feels really good, and you get to see people that we haven't got to see. You know, this has been part of all of our lives for, well, not you, but for me, over 40 years.
Yeah.
You're too young to be that long, but
It's over 30 for me, but it's a minute. It's definitely a minute. So real quick, for those that might contemplate traveling into a state that has an advisory, you flew to Alaska. You flew to Alaska from a state that could be considered a hot spot. How did that work?
well, to Alaska, it didn't matter because everybody coming into the state has to go through the exact same process. And that is, you had to have a COVID test within 72 hours with a negative results, of course. And then there's also an application that the state of Alaska has put out that you must fill out online, send to them, and then you have to mark on it if you've got your results back, or if you don't have them back. And if you have them back, they send you a code. You have to print that out, and then when you get your results, you have to print that out. And then when you get off the airplane, you go down, and they funnel everybody down into two lines: the ones that have their results back and have their form filled out. Because, well, when Bev and I got off the plane, and that flight was almost completely full, there were about 5 of us that were in the line that had our results back and had the form filled out, and everybody else was over in the other line.
Oh.
And oh, what do you mean we have to fill out a form? Oh, So they made them. They had the symbol. I don't know what you call it. The symbol up. You take a shot with your phone, and you could fill it out right then, and you get that back, and then you have to transfer it to them. But they recorded our form and our results, so they would have them.
Now, when you got to the dog show in either Alaska or South Carolina, did you have to fill anything out from the club?
Yeah. Well, down here we had not to, but in Alaska we had to sign a release saying that we would not hold the club responsible.
Okay, got it. All right. Is there anything that exhibitors can do to make the changes easier on you as a judge? And there doesn't have to be an answer. You could, No, well, the answer is no. I think right now, I feel by noon today, I was feeling very comfortable because, of course, in Alaska, we only had 350 dogs. Right.
So, it wasn't a big push, but down here, we've got over 2,000 dogs down here. So, no, everyone's, in and out. And it's the same thing when you have one owner that has 4 exhibits for in the same breed. You have to wait for them to switch. So, it's no big deal.
Got it. All right. Well, it's great to see you. I hope to see you in the flesh soon.
Well,
be safe traveling, and most of all, enjoy the dogs and enjoy being back to what we all love.
Thank you. I will.
Guys, Gary Andersen in South Carolina now, and we will see you soon. Until next time.